everybody. Welcome back. This is Getting to Know You, an Owners Club exclusive podcast. Today's featured guest is Garrett Wilson. Hi, Garrett.
Hey, how are you, Kathy?
Doing really well. I'm going to take a
Good.
minute to ask our audience to hit the subscribe button down below, give us a like, add a comment or two for Garrett in the comments. That would be awesome. So,
Yeah.
Garrett, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am currently living up here in, I hate saying Portland, Oregon, but that's like geographically where I'm at. So it's about an hour south of Portland, in Oregon. We're actually in the process of moving out to Phoenix. We've been looking at doing that for 5 years. Everyone always jokes, are you moving there for SubTo? It's like, no, it's just an added bonus. We have family and friends out there. So we're actually headed out there here in less than a week just to hang out with friends and family again. But my background before getting into Owners Club, before getting into SubTo, before all of that, I was out here, I joined the Marine Corps at 17 years old, was in the Marine Corps, planned on doing 25 to life, deployed a handful of times. And then as I started getting into kind of the bomb tech EOD side of things, I was engaged at the time. And it was kind of realistically a choice between, everyone joked EOD stands for everyone's divorce. So like you're going to choose between your spouse or a military career in this field. So I got out and didn't really know what I was doing and went to school, got a degree, and then got into law enforcement. A lot of similarities there between military and law enforcement. I was working at Portland, Oregon out here. I was a cop for a total just shy of probably 7.5 years. And I resigned this last October to kind of pursue this full time, and we can get more into that whole process and everything. But since then, it's been an incredible shift. Got to join Owners Club this year. I was not an OG member. I'm brand new to Owners Club, so it's been an exciting shift as we've kind of made all these rapid changes and exciting shifts in how we kind of live our life and what we're doing. So,
So, tell me about that leap from being a police officer to real estate. What was that journey?
that was like a 2 year journey because there was a lot of fear behind that. There was a lot of like, what if I fail? What if I need to have this figured out? I need to do this, and a lot of it really boiled down to like mindset coaching and all these other things that really like got me there, I guess. But for me, going from a guaranteed career, here's how much you're going to make, here's how much overtime's available, here's all these incentive pays. I was on our SWAT team. I was able to like really do some high level things, which was really fun, and be a part of some other teams as well. I was there through the protests and the riots and all the chaos. And so I was just kind of known for, well, my reputation was good. I'll just say that, which was awesome. And it was hard to leave a place where you're already well respected. You already have all these things going for you. You have all these opportunities in front of you. It's very consistent. I know what's covered. I have life insurance. I have medical coverage for my kids. I got 3 little kids. My wife and I really went back and forth. And it was kind of this battle of realizing what's the difference, right? If I do this, other than there's no guarantee. Yeah, you have no ceiling, you have all these things, but it was this fear, I think. And so for me, I got to a point where I realized I am doing an incredible job. I always say like of creating a life for my family, but I wanted to create a life with my family. And so it's kind of like they talked about at Squad Up this year, right? Upgrade your problems so your problems upgrade you. And I think that transition for me was, it's not about just the transactions. It's also about the opportunities and the relationships and like getting to know people like yourself. I've loved getting to kind of meet and connect with you and learn your journey. And I think that's the thing for me that really, I guess, pushed me. I don't even want to say push, but encouraged me was conversations with people in these communities like Wes Grant, James Giblin, people who I just like connected with. And it's like, why are they so nice? You know, it's like I'm not used to people being nice and encouraging you and wanting you to succeed. You know, meeting people like Rhea Campbell and like people who are just saying, here's what you can do. Here's a co-pilot, bro. Like just things that encourage you to grow and they want you to grow, just like PACE does, right? And I think that was, if I'm being totally honest, I think the SubTo community in itself was a big part of that because I've done dozens of transactions before. I'm a licensed realtor here in Oregon. I've done a ton with that, but it wasn't until I found a community of that support that made me realize I'm gonna fail over and over again, but I have all these people who are like, good, like go fail again and learn more and keep taking action. So I think once I really had that, that was when it became a little easier for me mentally because I was only in SubTo for maybe 8 months. And that's when I essentially got to a point where I said, all right, I'm going to resign and do this because I realized what power was in that community. And then Owners Club is just kind of that next level of that. So I'd already resigned and I wrote on my goal card, which I carry with me, join Owners Club. I knew when the opportunity was there, and it was still scary, right? It's like even sitting there, like, all right, I'm going to pay all this money and do this. It was one of those things where it was like this terrifying but exciting thing. And I said, I know this is what we're going to do. And we just did it because, right, like nothing changes if nothing changes. So,
Yeah, correct.
yeah.
Did you join SubTo and then quit your job, or did you quit your job and then find SubTo?
Yeah, so I was in Sub 2 again. It was about 8 months of just like absorbing content and learning and trying to like, you know what I mean, not doing anything. And I just kind of got to a point similar to like Michael Nastakani and how he said it was like 18 months for him of like not really taking any action, just absorbing content on things. I kind of found myself in the same chaotic thing. Like I was working shift work 4 p.m. to 2 a.m., but I was also doing real estate transactions in the meantime. And I had no growth. So for 8 months, I'm just like watching the Zoom vault, getting lost in weekly calls, just like, oh, yeah, I'm just learning so much, LLC creation, all this stuff. And I realized I just need to do something. I just need to get a property. I just need to do a creative deal. So I went and I did my first creative deal, which was a wraparound mortgage on a house. And that house, I got $200,000 down, and I make a little over $1,000 a month on that one deal. And it just like hit me. It's like that's one deal. That was one thing that I learned. Like, and it was scary. The whole process, I had no idea what I was doing. I literally had no idea what I was doing. And I just kept like every day, I was like, well, what do I have to do today? And I just took that next step. And I've always prided myself on being a professional problem solver. Everything I've done, whether it was the Marine Corps at 17 years old, into law enforcement, being on a SWAT team, like all these things, you have to solve big, crazy problems. And it's just what's in front of you right there. So I just realized for me, what really helped was one, I have a community of knowledge and people. When I don't have an answer, I can go into that and someone's probably going to have it. And two, I'll just figure it out. I'll figure out what that next step is. And so I think that first thing is really what it was that helped me. But I had been in Sub 2 for 8 months doing nothing, absorbing. And it really wasn't until I was like, I'm taking action, I'm doing this. I had actually quit my job before I got my first deal. So that was a really scary thing because my wife and I, we talked is like, do we need to see it to believe it, or can we see it mentally in order to believe what we're going to go do, right? Do I have to have the results before I take the step? And if I'm being honest, a mindset thing, I kind of thought about, okay, I'm a cop. Would I need to go be a firefighter first before I could leave being it, right? And it's like, that's how I really justified. I said, I don't need to do that before I can resign and commit fully to this, because I knew this is what I wanted to do. I just didn't know how, you know? So it was to answer your question, it was 8 months of doing nothing. So I guess I found Sub 2. I just didn't do Sub 2 until I had resigned.
And that was the definition of faith, right?
Yeah.
Faith is believing without seeing.
Yeah.
You just believe that it's there and available to you.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, it's crazy to just say, this is what I'm doing. I'm confident in it. I'm going to do it, you know, and this is what we're doing now, which is unnerving. It's unnerving for sure. When you have a wife and 3 kids, you're like, 2 thumbs up, you know, like, we believe in you. So.
What is your business model today? What are you working on currently?
Yeah, so today, as of Tuesday, we closed on our first business. Again, 8 months ago, I resigned. Buying a business wasn't even in the back of my mind. Like, I don't think that was a thing. That just came from failures, losing money in real estate deals, connecting with people, and like operating in a place of integrity and like who I am and kind of my background, just saying, I'm going to be the one who eats this. I'm going to take care of my capital people always. By doing that, it led me to someone who is very good at buying businesses, and they've been doing it for over 20 years, and they're kind of mentoring me and my partner, Mitch Hardington, through this process. So that's something we're doing is kind of side hikes, I guess I say, like we're doing that on the side, which is really cool. Our 2 active things we're doing right now as of Thursday, we just had our most recent LOI signed, and now we're moving into the contract stages of purchasing what will be our largest multifamily asset, which is a 243 unit in Oklahoma. I've never been to Oklahoma in my life. I'm really excited to go visit now and walk this property. I love this one, truthfully, because a lot of ones that we've been working on and done, they're like the businesses, the corporations. This is like a mom and pop, and like their 30-year like loan is up, and now like we need to sell. And so it's really like this project of, oh wow, here's someone who's like really poured themselves into this property for 30 years, and now they're selling and retiring. And I think that's a really cool like sentiment for me, just because of my background and everything like I've come from. And I can get more into that here in a minute too. But the other side of this too is, again, my Mount Everest, and what we're kind of working towards is really affordability, like a lot of people are, but in the ground up construction, creating communities. A big part of that is my background in law enforcement, my partners, and saying, you know what, there's a lot of things. I benefit from a VA home loan. There's not a lot of people who benefit when they're working in these chaotic careers where they're serving communities, and we want to create a community that serves them back with affordability and things that make it a little more comfortable in pouring in. And I can dive into that later as well. But we want to do ground up construction, but you got to start, right? If you're like, I want to create a huge community, you don't just get approved for that. So we're starting, we have a few single families right now that we're developing and building. We're actually getting into some pretty cool things with prefab homes. Some people, Bertie Nixick had at an event out in Boston, Vermont, had shown us a few of these prefab homes, which are really cool. Build Constructs is what that company's called. We also have 3D printed homes, which is insane. And like I'm looking at these, and it's concrete, and a house can go up in 4 to 7 days. It's just insane. I mean, it's mud bots. I mean, some of these companies out there. And so we're really getting deep into that, because if we can scale fast and create even small communities and make those more affordable, because our costs are much lower. I mean, you're talking $25 a square foot instead of 130, 150 a square foot. And so if we can save money, then we can also sell these at a lower price and also get into the buy and hold side, where now we're leasing these using Section 8 models and communities, making these safe and affordable communities for people too. And then I guess, third tier of this is the multifamily ground up construction. So that's kind of the big one, because again, more units, more affordability. We have some big goals with that, starting with trying to get to 1,000 units that we've built and created for Section 8 and housing vouchers and programs, to essentially make like a A class like community, but for people who could never afford something like that. So those are really the projects that we're working on right now. It seems like a lot, but I'm a big quote guy. One of my favorite quotes is, don't complain about having a lot on your plate when the goal is to eat. So for me, it's like, okay, we're not capped. We have more potential. Let's add something else and keep doing that and make sure everyone has a role. So hopefully that answers your questions of kind of what we're working on right now.
Yeah, I love it. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm really curious about the 3D printed homes.
Yeah.
What is the longevity on a 3D printed home?
Yeah. It's actually better than most of these stick-built houses, because it's out of concrete. And so it takes a 3-man crew. Some of the research we're doing right now, it'll take a 3-man crew to put it out there. But I mean, you're talking like it'll withstand up to 400-mile-an-hour winds. Insulation is better. So it's really good for like Southern Belt where it's really hot outside. As far as the structural integrity of them, it's usually better. I mean, it's a concrete building instead of a wood building. So places that have, I mean, I'm sure a tornado coming through might be a problem, right? But when you start talking about like Florida markets, I've looked at like ADUs and casitas in Arizona, right? Like that might be like if you could slap a whole ADU up, a 2,000 square foot second ADU accessory dwelling unit there in 4 to 7 days, and it's all done. There's a lot of coordination that goes into that instead of like months. That's really incredible. And so I think there's a scalability to that. And the structural integrity of these is higher, at least what they're telling us. So there are communities, master plan communities, that have already been built in states like Texas. I think it was like 35 homes initially, and now they're expanding outward. So it's really fun to see some of these advancements, because it's a 3-man crew to run that. And then you just have your GCs and your contractors doing the windows at the same time and installing those as it's going around printing. And it's just incredible, some of these advancements and what you're able to do. And it's like, well, if we can create a whole community in, let's say, 30 days, like that would be pretty insane. Smaller communities, but you can scale beyond that. And each machine, anywhere from like 400,000 to about $1 million just for the machine, but you can lease them. So we're trying to like figure out the logistical components of that and all these things. It's a really, really cool system that may be a supplement to kind of our ground up construction, or it may end up being its own entity entirely. So
Yeah, very cool.
yeah.
And quick, like
Yeah.
an entire community in a matter of what, a few weeks?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. I honestly am contemplating, instead of like buying, just building a concrete printed house like out in Arizona. I was like, that'd be really cool. Like be a case study for myself, I guess.
Why not?
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be cool. I'll come out and do an interview on location.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. That'd be super cool to do.
If someone wanted to work with you, Garrett, how do they bring value to you and your business partner?
Yeah, to be totally honest, we're trying to expand into a lot of different markets. Right now, Texas is a big one for us. Arizona is one we want to get into. I'm not there yet, so I don't have as deep connections out there. Wisconsin is one we're looking at. Florida is one we're looking at as well, that we're starting to create these connections. So I think the big thing is if people know, like, hey, this is something I'm really good at for the ground up construction side, I'd like to be a part of something really unique like this. Like we'd love to start to bring on partners in different areas who can help kind of manage and oversee that, as we have the logistical and kind of the understanding of some of these things. Like Mudbots, for example, you got to go through like 40 hours of a training with them before they even give you some of the insights to that. So we don't expect people to constantly be going through that. We want to like have teams in different places. So people who know, hey, this is a good general contractor, like, or hey, this is someone who has, the opportunity to, we prefab homes as well. GCs, it's like big kid Legos, same thing. It's like 300-mile-an-hour winds. And I've been reaching out to friends of mine who own ground up construction companies and have been building homes for a decade plus. And they're actually pretty impressed with some of these. So Build Constructs is that one. So people who are in areas that say this would really work, something like this would really work in my area. Raw land is being developed. I've tried to connect with more people who are selling raw land who we can develop those, especially ones that are already pre-zoned so we can subdivide those and things like that. If people have that, like, we want to pay you, we want to buy the land, like that's a big way. It's like we need that. And then again, like connecting with people who've kind of been there, done that, got the t-shirt, right? Like I spoke with Duran Levy at a recent event 2 weeks ago, and it was really cool to hear some of the things that I hadn't even, you don't know what you don't know. I hadn't even considered certain things, and he had great insight. And so it was awesome to be able to like pick his brain and say, you know what, I want to bring value to him. So my goal selfishly is like, how do I go and find everything to save him time, to save other people like that time, and just say, boom, here it is, it's done. All you need to do is just look it over, say, yep, that looks good. And then we just go through the process, and I'm going to learn from you, whether he's a KP and he's getting a lion's share. My thing is really proof of concept, if I'm being honest. Like I care less about the front end of what am I going to get on this one, and more, how do I bring value to people and what they're doing? How do I save them time? And then how do we kind of work together? So if there's someone who's like, I'm really interested in getting into ground up construction, and I've done all this research in this specific market, that saves me time. I've done all the logistical side, and we're actively doing it. That saves them time, and we kind of, that third brain of come together and create what we've all been putting time into, I think is the easiest way to say this is how we can work together on something.
Great. How do you like to be contacted?
I think email is the easiest, but I'll also give out any OC people can obviously find my phone as well. But my email, it's Garrett, Garret, at Thinline Legacies, spelled YS, not IES, .com. And that's where a lot of the deals come in. That's where a lot of connections come in. You can also find me on social media. It's very easy to find me. G.B. Wilson is my Instagram. I'm on there more than Facebook. Garrett Wilson on Facebook as well. So I think everything's public. I don't think I'm private anymore. I think anyone can just start following me. I don't know.
Yeah, I think if you're an OC, you kind of have to go public.
Yeah. I don't think there's too many privacy things anymore. So
Nope,
yeah.
not anymore.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Will we see you in Monterey?
I think that's the plan right now. I was gonna be flying to Oklahoma. I'm in Arizona and then straight to Oklahoma, and I didn't think I was gonna make it, but that shifted. So I think today and tomorrow I got to go buy everything and get out there, because I didn't think I was going to be there. I was actually just texting Rich, the OC president, about it all, making sure, where should I stay? No hotels were here. So I'll be there. As of right now, I'll be there, and I'm excited to be there. Never been to Monterey. So
Great. Well, looking forward to seeing you there.
yeah, likewise. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for carving out time for us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye, everybody.